wouldn't you want to see documentation and telling the truth than standing on the street and doing what? What it's going to get you? It's going to cost you £25-30, right, a time for 2 hours for no one to listen.
Yeah, I see your point there.
On August the 1st, there's going to be a demonstration in London, all because the government, the Conservative government, which a lot of the civnats were telling us to vote for, this government has not deported 3 groomers who are still living in Rochdale, the town where they carried out their offences, causing distress to the victims who reside in Rochdale. Think about that for a moment. That's the Conservative government. But I want to talk about this civnat demonstration organised by the Heart of Oaks or Hearts of Oak, whatever their name is. This small group is leading people down the garden path again, wasting their time in a pointless demo. I'm going to give you various reasons why this demo is absolutely pointless and it has no impact at all, apart from serving to make this group appear to have a number of followers who are willing to go out into the streets for them, as well as serving the interests of various grifters and publicity seekers who are attached to this group. Let's outline some of the reasons why this demonstration will not be impacting the government decision one iota. Firstly, many of you will already be aware of this. Well, those who have the ability to Google will certainly be abreast of this situation. The government is already under immense pressure by all and sundry to action deportation proceedings against this vile trio. It's already there. That pressure is already there. A lot of that pressure is actually coming from the left, who are using this as an opportunity to bash Priti Patel and the Conservative government. You may want to ask yourself why the Zio civnats were telling you to vote the Conservative government. There's a bit of irony there. You were told to vote for that government, and now this government is basically betraying you and what you want. Keep that in mind. So what this actually means is you're not adding anything new at all. Your demonstration is not going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. There's a lot of pressure already on the government. The government, for some reason, is trying to resist and hold out. We'll get on to the reasons why the government is doing that in a few moments' time. Yeah, but for now, just keep your mind on the fact that there's already a lot of public figures questioning the government and applying pressure on them. Some of them are left-wing as well. Now this point runs on to the next one. The second point being the caliber and influence of those already applying that pressure on the government to deport this vile trio. There's various media outlets, the usual ones. There's The Independent, Daily Mail, etc. They're all involved in applying that pressure. There's various figures as well involved. Some of them are politicians. The Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, as well as Rochdale's own MP, Tony Lloyd. They've both called for the government to deport the trio. So do you really think a couple of 100 characters getting onto the megabus, turning up to downtown London and chanting Tommy, Tommy, Tommy Robinson while swigging a can of Carling and listening to or attempting to listen to barely audible speeches by various grifters and attention seekers, do you really think that's going to impact the government decision at all, considering the caliber and influence of those who have already applied that pressure? Your ego may tell you that, yeah, this is going to be something of importance, but just use your brain, and if you start applying decent IQ level logic, you'll be able to see that this is absolutely pointless. While swigging a can of Carling and attempting to listen to barely audible speeches by various grifters and attention seekers, do you really think that's going to impact the government's decision? Do you really think that your demonstration is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? You've already got highly influential people applying that pressure. You've got media outlets, right wing and left wing, applying that pressure as well. Likewise with the characters, with the politicians and personalities involved, both right and left are united on this. Of course, the left has its own reason. The left are using this as an opportunity to bash Priti Patel and the Conservative government, but that's just the way politics works, right? Talking about influential figures, an honourable mention would go to a chap called Nazir Afzal, who's got an OBE. He's the former chief crown prosecutor for the northwest of England. He's actually responsible for caging a lot of these groomers. He's thrown his hat in the ring. He's calling for deportation as well. I mean, you've got everybody there calling for deportation. Your demonstration serves no function, no impactful function at all, right? It's redundant. Thirdly, perhaps most importantly, whatever you say about the Conservative government, let's be clear here, they would love to deport the trio. They would absolutely love to do that. It would be a PR boost, and it would be seen as them honouring their promise and not reneging on it, which is what they're doing right now, right? They're going against their word. So why are they missing out on this PR boost? Why are they reneging on their initial vow? The reason why they've stalled, and this is an educated piece of speculation which seems logically sound, you can let me know what you think about it. I believe that this is because they know the groomers have a load of factors in their favour, such as the human rights appeals. Any human rights lawyer would love to get their hands on this case. If the government did try to deport the trio, they would have a number of arguments which would really side in the favour of the trio. Some of these arguments would be, they would be able to posit arguments like the groomers have family in the UK, thus it's going to cause separation from family members, especially their children who are residing in the UK. This is a massive issue. This is a massive issue when it comes to human rights. Another argument perhaps would be that they would be in danger in the country of origin that they are meant to be deported to. Again, it's an argument that they can make. I'm not saying that they will be in danger. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is the type of argument that people would that the lawyers would make. Another big hurdle would be the diplomatic hurdle. How do you really think this would look in terms of PR for the host country and the president of that country? So in this case, I believe it's Pakistan. Do you really think that they would accept these individuals, considering that they were convicted for sexual crimes? It's well known that poorer countries like these do not have sex registers for offenders to be signed on to. What this means is it poses a greater risk to the population, the innocent population, be it females or children in those countries. Working on from that point, do you really think the president of that country will publicly accept this? Yeah, it's going to be a PR disaster for that president, right? The very fact that he's allowing these characters in, showing absolute disregard for the safety of his own citizens. It's going to be a PR nightmare for him and a diplomatic disaster for the government of the UK. There are just two plausible reasons why the Conservative government did not attempt to deport. They've had almost 2 years, or perhaps 2 years, to action some sort of deportation. They didn't bother. they didn't attempt it because they know that it's just going to be a waste of taxpayers' money and public failure, as well as a possible diplomatic nightmare. It's not going to work. They know it. Now, I'm hearing that this newly formed group called Hearts of Oak is trying to take legal action against the government. I've seen it all before, and it never goes anywhere. Do you remember all these other groups that claim that they are going to be taking Twitter, Facebook to court? Whatever happened to those actions? I bet some of you may have even donated to those attempts in the past. What came of those? Nothing, right? So what makes you think this is going to be anything different? Rest assured, any decision the government will make will not be influenced, not even in the slightest, by this demo, the Hearts of Oak, or any civic nationalist ranting whilst sober or drunk, be it on social media or on the streets of London or whichever town or city across the UK. It's not going to happen. You need to start using your mind. These individuals know that demonstrations have zero impact. They know that they are pointless. One of them even said so much.
I think street movements is finished. I've said it again and again and again. Speak to Tommy. You won't see another street movement. Not unless people want to go and do one. Easy as that. Street movements is finished. Then Tommy's not going to go back on the streets again. Because street movement, we've been doing it for 10 years, David, yeah? And where's it got us? Nowhere. We're still sitting there thinking, what else can we do? Can we scratch our heads? How long will we go? I'm 61 now. You know, how long can we keep going, David? And you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Where is it coming from next? You know, where is the patriotism from these youngsters who's going to come in for the next generation? Wouldn't you want to see documentation and telling the truth than standing on the street and doing what? What is going to get you? It's going to cost you £25-30, right, a time for 2 hours for no one to listen.
Yeah, I see your point there.
It's really your ego playing with you, making you think you're going to be doing something that has the power to impact change. If you do have a look at some of these people who go to these demonstrations, I find it hard. I think you'll find it, if you're a reasonable person, I think you'll also find it hard to believe that these individuals are living fruitful lives and that they're healthy in their social, personal, work and general life. I genuinely feel that these people are quite troubled in various aspects of their life. I think, I mean, if I was to guess, I think many of them are unemployed. So they're not really contributing towards the country. They lack that level of self-esteem as well, which makes them more prone to being manipulated by various characters. Characters who may be charismatic on the internet can sway them quite easily. If you've got low self-esteem, you can be swayed and manipulated quite easily. Another thing that you'll notice about these individuals is there's loads of middle-aged men, as well as women, who are just so protective and obsessive over Tommy Robinson. It's almost like some of them believe that he's their son or even their boyfriend. This phenomenon has been noted by Nick Cotton.
We have on the show the other weekend, he said, look at the Tommy Robinson hardcore base, look at the people on Telegram and look at the people who comment on the videos and look at the profile photos, and they're all middle-aged men or middle-aged women, and Tommy is like some sort of surrogate for a son that they never had, because they're all like, there must be some sort of like a psychological thing going on where they're using Tommy to fill some sort of fucking gap, because this guy is no different from who he described. I can't remember who said it, Chris, can you remember? Was it Horus? Sure, it was horrible. Oh no, was it unwashed?
Yeah, cult. Because well, no, that's what you're saying. You were saying earlier that you can't bust these people out of it because they formed a relationship with him in their head. There's this very odd pattern of like people have
money. Yeah.
No. You might. This might make you all giggle. Have you noticed the pattern of like men having midlife crises and becoming massive Tommy fans? There's a huge number of his like biggest supporters, the guys that are on the mic, are men in their 50s, and Tommy is about the age that the son they never had would have been. That is a pattern.
Wow.